So I had some questions regarding Infinity Scalper, which I love to get. And they talked about trend direction. And I've given you a few examples on how to do it. Moving average, even using the indicator. But you got to remember too, there's a lot of noise in Forex, especially on the lower time frames. So higher time frames are more interesting to trade. Things are a little bit more in tune. I think there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of random noise. When I first started trading years ago, I would use Fibonacci. I don't anymore. I would use Fibonacci in line with support and resistance on the chart. And I would never look on a lower time frame trade unless it was in the direction of the 30-minute trend direction. But as you know, Infinity Scalper is only for the 1 minute and 5 minute chart. If I go to a 30-minute chart, well, I can't really use it, right? But what I can use is trend direction. Okay? 30-minute trend direction. When you're looking at what to use, you want to look at a factor of 3 to 5. So you're looking at 15 to 25 minutes. So obviously you don't have a 25-minute chart. So let's go to the 30-minute chart. So if we're trading the Euro US dollar today, and this is Friday, let's find where our start time is. It's around 8:30, and this candlestick here started at 8:30. I'm sorry, 10:30 here. 11:30, which tells you that these candles form. So at the time that we have, this is an 8:30 candlestick. This is when that candlestick starts to form. Okay, so this over here would be the 8 o'clock, start to close, form at 8. Okay, so the closing price of this candlestick is actually the opening price at 8:30. Okay, the 8:30 candlestick. But we can see just by looking at the moving average price is above it, more of a slope up than down. We can look at price. So we could say to ourselves that, well, let's go to 7:30, because if we're going to look at trading 8 o'clock on, we want to make sure we're in the trend direction of the 30-minute chart. And that would have been right here at 7:30, this candle would close. So you would have been looking at about this area here. So I can just move over one without, no, hold on. I can't slide over that. But forget this red candle. You'd be looking at this price action and the moving average at this time at 8 o'clock. Okay, so let's look at the green line here. We would have to look at the 5-minute chart now. So all we're looking for are long trades. Okay, this is 7:30, so we don't take anything till 8 o'clock. Okay, this is 7:55. Remember, this is a 7:55 opening candle, right? So it closes at what time? 8 o'clock. And when it closes, we do have a long trade that goes up for about 5 pips. Comes back against you for 10 or 11. Oh, wait. 11 pips. And then it rallies up for 27 pips. Now, depending on how you're trading Infinity Scalper, your stops, etc., you're going to have to determine that. Do you just trade the signals? So you would get in at the close of this candlestick, and then get out here, and that would be a 10 pip loss. Okay, not a big deal. 10 pips is nothing. Well, I'm not going to say it's nothing. It depends on the size of your account and your risk. So this candle here is our long trade, which is here. Price goes up 20 pips, comes back down for 2 pips. Okay, so again, how are you determining your exits? All that's in the PDF. You can use different ways. You can just, one of the favorite ways I have, I'm not a big fan of set stops and targets. For example, I'm going to go for 10 pips. I'm going to go for 20 pips. I don't do that. I swing trade anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you could say that I want to take a multiple of what I'm risking. So if I'm getting in the trade here, the swing that I would not want to get violated is here. So you're looking at about 9 pips here, 10 pips, right? So you enter when it closes, give yourself a little bit. So let's just go to the high of this candle, so 10 pips. So once the trade goes up for 20 pips, right, a 2-to-1 risk-to-reward ratio, you can get out. Or if you're in tune to price action, you can see this reversal candlestick happening here, a big thrust against it, and get out there. Regardless of how you do it, this video is more about trend direction. So this is the 30-minute trend that we're trading, okay? And if we go back up to our 30, where are we now? We're still looking for longs only, okay? Well, not now. We wouldn't be. We'd be certainly closed by now because we'd only trade for the first 2 to 3 hours of the session. So this trade you would sit in basically for the entire session, just let it go, and however you're taking your profit targets. It doesn't hurt to take off in relation to what you're risking. Remember, we are scalping, so we're not looking for huge runs in prices, right? We're looking for a quick little buck. So if you're risking 10 pips here, go for your 20 pips, right? And get out. And you do get that around this area here, give or take, right? I'm going from the high here. And if you start seeing price move against you, get out. It's that simple. Let's look at another chart. That was the Euro US dollar. Let's look at one of my favorite pairs, the pound US. Let's pop up to our 30-minute chart. And again, let's see what we're looking at here. I'm going to move this because this is from a carryover from the last chart. Oh, definitely we're up, so let's not even bother moving this. We just know that we're looking for up trades, right? Trends in the up direction. Up scalps, I guess let's call it that. Let's come over here. Well, here's the problem. We are in a long uptrend here, okay? And there is no other entry. So if you're seeing this, what can you do? Well, you can go down the minute chart. And let's see what happened. There we go, so I can see better. Oh, for some reason I lost the indicator. One sec. There we go. Let's go to 8 o'clock, which is around here. So we get an up trade here. We first get into our trade here. And again, I've talked about before, you have to go back all over my videos. I can't cover everything in the same video that I've already talked about. You have to ask yourself how you're going to manage these trades. I would never trade a 1 minute chart anyways. But if I was gun to head, trade the 1 minute chart, I certainly would not get out on the 1 minute chart. So let's just go over here. These all work out. But let's just go here because this candle sets up at 7:58, right? So it closes at 7:59. This is our first trade we could get. It's in that area right there. So let's just put a line there. So this is our 1 minute chart. So now let's say we're in the trade here. Let's trade our 5 minute. All right. What do we risk on that? 15 pips. So you want to get out at 30 pips roughly, which you do get around this area here. 30 pips. If you're using a 1 minute chart, some people will say, well, I want to place my stop in accordance with the 1 minute chart, which you can certainly do. I don't know if it really makes a difference on this chart. Let's go back up to the 5 minute chart. Not really. Right. Yeah, 14 odd pips, 15 pips. And you can see that you get in the trade, slops around a little bit, and then goes to its target there. And that's it. So, 2 good trades in the US dollar cross. If you're going to scalp, those are the kind of pairs that you want to scalp. Let's take a look at the Euro Japanese yen. You just got to remember, you got to watch overall exposure and what you're trading. Let's go to our 30-minute chart. And, well, this is just an ugly 30-minute chart, so I would not trade that chart anyhow. Let's take a look at the pound yen, right? Another crazy pair. And again, no surprise, it's a pound cross. So we're looking for up trades, right? And you can see we do get a pull. This is at 9:30. We do have an entry here. But again, where's 8 o'clock? We start in this area here. There's no trade. Some of you, especially when you see this move away from the moving average, which means extended market, may decide that I'm going to trade the 1 minute chart. And let's just go back to 8 o'clock-ish. Remember, only up trades. And this is at 8:23 right here. So you can actually take this trade to the upside. This is a 31 pip trade here. Remember, only up trades. We have a trade here to the upside. Goes 6 pips before coming back. We have a long trade. Remember, only up trades here, which doesn't really do a whole lot. But you don't get another move down here until over here. So you could still be in this trade through this little slop. And you would get out for about a 4 or 5 pip trade. Unless you're trading on the 5 minute chart. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways that you can do Infinity Scalper. You could trade with using trend direction of the 5 minute chart, using the indicator. On the 1 minute chart, you can use a moving average from a higher time frame. For example, a 30 minute chart. You could try a 15 minute if that suits you as well. right? Depending on the trader that you are, you know how nimble you are. And if you're going to use smaller time frames for trend, I really hope you understand price action so you can see, for example, if you're in an uptrade or you have an uptrend and you're using these smaller time frames. Now this is what is this, 30-minute chart. But let's say this is on a 5-minute chart and you see hard slams against you. You don't want to see that in an uptrend, this kind of price action. You definitely don't want to see this. Hard slams against you. You do not want to see it. When you're in an uptrend, you want to see lazy price action, you know, with these little shadows here. This is more of a clearance than anything else. But when you have this kind of a reversal candlestick slams against you, basically in 2 candlesticks, eats up this whole move, that's a problem. Okay, you want to be on alert for that kind of stuff. So like I said, there's different ways. You can see that you have had 2 nice winning trades today. Walked out with about, let's be conservative, say 40 pips. You know, depending on what your count size is, that could be a lot of money or it could be a little bit of money. It depends, right? But the point of this video, really, is don't get caught up in the smaller time frame mess, okay? Try not to. You can trade it, and it will work out. You know, pretend this moving average is not there. You know, this trade goes down for 20 odd pips. It can work out. Just understand with the spot market, right, for retail Forex traders, there's a lot of noise in our markets, okay? So just be aware of that. If you look at the opening, for example, when the exchanges open, right, you know, when the bells go in New York, for example, you know, there's an influx of action, right? But Forex is, you know, 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. There's a lot of, when you day trade futures, for example, there's a time constraint, right? People want to get in, get out. There's a time constraint. With Forex, it's not that constrained because it is open around the clock until we hit the weekend. All right? So you really want to pick the times. For example, the London session's decent. The U.S. session, London session overlap is pretty good. And some traders might trade later on in the afternoon. If I think back to when I traded, my trade was mostly in the morning when I day traded. Swing trading, it doesn't matter when I do it now. I usually come in at night. So, different things you can look at, all right? Let's take a look. We can trade higher time frame trends, right, with a moving average. That's one thing you're going to have to decide when you're trading this, okay? You can also use the indicator for trend. So, for example, if the 5-minute chart is showing all red to the downside, you only take shorts on the 1-minute chart. You're going to have to decide, well, you definitely want to decide what time frame you're trading. That's important, right? What time frame you're trading. Definitely want to do that. How are you placing stops? How are you taking profits? Right? You certainly want to understand all of that. And there are different ways you can do that. You can take your profit at opposing signals. You can certainly do that. You can take profit at multiples of risk. You can do that as well. There's different ways you can do that. So download Infinity Scalper. Just give it a go. All right, just try it out. See what suits you as a trader. If you're into scalping, you know, and you have a few hours in the morning, or if you're one of those people who are an insomniac and it's nighttime when it's 3 o'clock in London, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so you're trading London session, the day session in London, you know, think about doing that as well. You can do that as well. All right, thanks for watching.